Advances in battery technology are having a huge impact on cordless power tools. And I want to show you what I mean by that, and I also want to give you some insights in how to choose batteries properly and make them last as long as possible. The first place that advances in battery technology have yielded results is at the large end of the cordless tool spectrum. For a few years now, it's been possible to frame an entire house with a cordless circular saw. If you're going to try that, you want to go for a 24-volt model. This is one of my favorite tools. It's a cordless hacksaw, and even though I mostly work with wood, I actually turn to this tool quite often for cutting all kinds of metal parts and hardware and fittings. At the small end of the spectrum, new kinds of batteries have made a difference there too. Here we have a pocket screwdriver. Don't be fooled by the small size. This is much more than a toy. It'll easily drive 3.5 and even 4-inch wood screws. This is a brand new tool. It's a cordless detail sander and cut-off saw that allows you to get in and do some very precise work. Both of these two smaller units use a 12-volt lithium-ion battery pack, and that gets to something that you want to understand to do with battery chemistry. At the moment, there are 3 different kinds of cordless tool battery chemistries. The oldest is nickel cadmium. A bit of a flash in the pan has been the nickel metal hydride. It was a big thing 10 years ago, but it didn't really offer a lot of benefits compared with NiCads, and so most tool companies have put that aside. The latest one, and the one that's really making a difference in tool design, is lithium-ion batteries. They pack a whole lot of energy in a very light package. They have no memory effect, and they have a self-discharge rate which is a lot lower than the others, which means that a battery like this, when it's charged, will remain charged, will hold its charge for a longer period of time in storage. Everyone understands the difference between battery voltage. The higher the voltage, the more powerful the tool. But what's not understood properly is the capacity of the battery, how much energy that it can hold. Now, all 3 of these batteries are 18 volt, and they all have about the same amp-hour capacity, just over 2. The difference, though, is really striking when you see how much they weigh compared to each other. This is the good old NiCad battery, and it weighs 976 grams. This is the nickel metal hydride battery, and it weighs just under 1,000 grams. This is the lithium-ion battery, and it weighs in at 624 grams. Way less weight than the other 2, with the same capacity, the same voltage. Regardless of the kind of battery you have in your tools, there are 2 things you can do to extend their life. One is to minimize the high drain rates from the batteries. So in other words, if you've got a drill and that drill is stalling out, then stop. Don't force the motor to do more than it should. Because when that happens, a whole bunch of current draw is demanded from the cells that make up a battery pack. And this current draw results in a huge amount of heat buildup within the cell and a breakdown of internal insulation, and before you know it, that battery pack is toast. The second issue has to do with the temperature of the battery pack, especially when it's being charged. If a pack is too hot or too cold while it's being charged, you can do some serious damage to the cells inside the pack. That's why better quality cells have temperature sensors like you see here built right in. That works in conjunction with higher quality chargers which can monitor battery temperature and shut down the charging process if things are too hot or too cold. Regardless of how carefully you take care of your batteries, eventually they're going to stop holding a charge. My favorite Canadian source for replacement batteries right now is an outfit called batterybuyer.com. One reason I like them is because of the care they put inside the battery packs in terms of the cells they choose and the circuitry that brings it all back together. Let me show you what I mean. This is a lithium-ion battery pack, and here are the cells that make up the unit. These are Panasonic cells, and because it's a lithium-ion pack, there's also a circuit board that controls the charging and discharging of the cells that make up the battery. Whether you're buying replacement batteries for tools you already have or brand new tools, it's important that you pay attention to the amp hour rating on those batteries. It's not always easy to see either. Here, look, we have 2.5 amp hour here. We have 3 amp hour there. This is 1,900 milliamp hours. That's just another way of expressing the same sort of thing. The reason this matters is because it affects the runtime of your tools. The larger the amp hour rating, it's like having a larger gas tank on the tool. You'll be able to do more work between running back to the charger and swapping that battery out for a fresh one. Amp hour ratings are not highly advertised. Sometimes you have to look very closely indeed to see the tiny little numbers, but it really makes a difference in terms of how much value you get out of the tools and the batteries that you buy. To learn more about the different kinds of batteries on the market today and how you can get the most out of your cordless tool gear, check out my article in the June-July issue of Canadian Contractor magazine.